Hello and welcome to Meet the Fleet, a series of videos introducing you to the locomotives that run on the Bruceton Railway. The British Rail Class 142 Pacer are diesel multiple unit passenger trains built for British Rail from 1985 to 1987. They were built with a high level of commonality with the widely used Leyland National Bus. They are part of the Pacer family of rail buses. The last set was withdrawn from service in 2020. By the beginning of the 1980s, British Rail operated a large fleet of first-generation diesel multiple units, which had been constructed in prior decades to various designs. While formatting its long-term strategy for this sector of its operations, British Rail planners recognised that considerable costs would be incurred by undertaking refurbishment programmes necessary for the continued use of these ageing multiple units, particularly due to the necessity of handling and removing hazardous materials such as asbestos. In the light of the high cost involved in retention, planners examined the prospect for the development and introduction of a new generation of DMUs to succeed the first generation. In the concept stage, two separate approaches were devised, one involving a so-called rail bus that prioritised the minimalisation of both initial and ongoing maintenance and operational costs, while the second was a more substantial DMU that could deliver better performance than the existing fleet, particularly when it came to long-distance services. With the more ambitious latter requirement would ultimately lead to the development of the British Rail Class 151 and the wider Sprinter family of DMUs, BR officials recognised that a cheaper unit was desirable for service on the smaller branch lines that would not be unduly impacted by lower performance specs or a high density configuration. Work to progress both approaches was therefore undertaken by BR's research department during the early 1980s. Several operational Class 142s have made it into preservation, and additional sets are set to be saved/earmarked for preservation, most of which so far being ex-Northern operated units, with one being an ex-Arriva Trains Wales unit. The Pioneer Class 142 unit, 142001, is part of the National Collection and preserved at the National Railway Museum, Shildon. Other select units have also been purchased, but will only be used to provide spare parts to the units which are planned to operate on heritage railways or museums. One of these preserved examples, number 142048, resides at the Bruceton Railway under the name Pace, due to its increase in acceleration from rest. We hope you've enjoyed meeting Pace, and remember she can be seen upon request at any time. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon for another episode of Meet the Fleet.